Hey, hopefully this is working. Man, I tried to record this video earlier today, and I thought I made a decent video, but then it didn't get recorded. That's okay. We'll just have to do it, and I'm looking at it now, and it looks like it's working. So, anyways, wow, this little trade that I happened to record is doing really, really well. So what I'm going to do is, as mentioned in my last video, I had a stop loss. I'd actually moved that stop loss up a little bit. And I'm going to go ahead and bump up this stop loss again. I think right here to this resistance level. And I'm actually going to sell a little bit of this harmony and use and transfer those profits into a futures account and have an isolated leveraged trade. Now, I have been wrecked, okay, using leveraged futures. I'm talking seriously wrecked. I'm talking the kind of loss that some people don't come back from. Devastating, sends you into a dark place loss. So I mentioned this for two reasons. One, I'm not a professional trader, and anything in this video is not to be taken as financial advice. It is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Do not get wrecked doing, certainly don't get wrecked because you follow something that you see here on this channel. But also just don't get wrecked in general playing with leveraged trades that you don't understand. Okay, so I'm going to do this the best way that I know how, and as safely as I know how. And, if anyone out there has suggestions for how to do it more safely and in a better way, I'm all ears. So feel free to leave comments. But what I'm going to do is basically take some out, take some of the profit or whatever off of this trade that has done really well. So it's getting close to having doubled in like 3 days or something like that, which is great. I put in 10 grand and I actually had a stop loss whenever I entered this position. And the most, assuming that if the price had fallen and I sold it near my limit, right? Or near my trigger, I would not have lost that much money in a worst case scenario because I had a stop limit order in there. Oh man, it's like a good time right now to get in on this one trade. But anyways, what I'm getting at is that I never risked more than I could lose, more than I could afford to lose in this trade. And I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do because, again, like I'm not any kind of authority, but from my own perspective and my own way that I'm evolving as a trader, I'm learning more and more. You got to protect yourself. So what I'm about to do is the best way I know how to protect myself, but at the same time, when you see an opportunity, to me, like, dude, you need to take the opportunity. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'll go ahead and raise my limit to at least this point, but I'm almost thinking here. I just don't want to be stopped out. And I'm going to speak in these videos as if you are really brand new to trading. So what I mean by being stopped out is if you raise your stop limit, right, or your stop loss, it's the same thing pretty much in this case. If you raise it up to say like right here and the price dropped and hit your trigger and you sold your assets, you sold your position off, and then it just bounced up and just kept going up. Well, you sold for a profit, that's great, but you missed out on a big opportunity because you got stopped out. Like it went down to that price that initiated your sell for just like real quick. It never fell much past that. You never had an opportunity to like reassess and decide if you're going to buy back in before it shot up again, So I think I'll probably Although I gotta say, like, that's a tempting level right there. But at least I'll bring it up to here and lock in these profits. So what is that? The bottom of this candle is a low of 0.1568. We'll just say 0.150, okay? Or maybe 0.14990. Okay, and I'll actually keep this here. So that's what the trigger is going to be, and then the sell is actually going to be still at this level. Oh no, should be. It's funny, 0.086. I think it at this point should be around like 0.12, 0.120. And if that happens, I want to get out of all of it. But right now, I can't get out of all of it. I can't put this order because this one is already in the books. You know, it's queued up, and this is getting me out of all of it. So you'll notice that when I cancel this order over here, this amount is going to become available. See that? So now I can go ahead and get here. There we go. So we've kind of locked in the profit. So now the order that I just put in, so that you understand, a stop limit means that if the price drops to this level, which is my trigger, okay, it's going to begin trying to get out of the position. It's going to start trying to sell my whole position because I put 100%, right, over here. But sometimes if the stock is moving down so fast, it can't get you out of the position. And so what's going to happen is it's going to keep trying to get me out of the position, keep selling, trying to sell until it gets to my actual price, which is 0.12, which is around right here. And the idea is that if it gets here, just wait a second, because there's a good chance it's going to hit this resistance level and bounce up for a second. And this might allow me to actually fill at a better price. That's the theory anyways. But my position, I don't think it's not a huge position. So, you know, I don't think I'll have much trouble getting out right here at my trigger anyways. So that's what that is. So as we can see, you know, I'm looking at this thing. Again, I'm not a pro trader, but I see pretty clear, like, ascending wedge, and it seems like this has a lot of momentum, and I reckon once it gets to about right here, it's going to shoot up again, is the theory. It could crash back down, but hey man, I got my stop limit in there, and worst case scenario, you know, I would have made a pretty good trade. I went from a 0.11399, I think, to 0.1499. So that's a good, I mean, for a few days of doing very little, I mean, that's an incredible profit. So an incredible return. But who knows, man? This could go to $1. I don't know. Who knows how high it's going to go. But at this point, what I'm going to do, as I said, is I'm going to take some I'm going to sell some, and I'm going to put it into a futures account. And I'm going to then leverage that futures trade. But I'm going to do it in a way that I'm comfortable with, because I do not want to get wrecked. Okay, I don't want to lose everything in this position because the price reverses. So at this point, it kind of becomes a question of how much do I want to risk in that isolated futures account. Now, again, I'm going to speak to you as if you might be brand new to all this. And again, you know, if I make a mistake, somebody tell me, okay? But basically, you have an isolated futures account. You can have an isolated or a cross collateralized futures position. If it's isolated, then that means only what you put in that futures account, like that's as much as you can possibly lose. if you're doing a cross-collateralized position, then if the position starts going against you and you start losing money very quickly, it can reach into all of your other positions and basically, you know, it will prevent you from getting liquidated. Maybe I should even say what that is. Basically, if you're in a leveraged position, if the, how do I put this? You have to keep a certain amount of funds in your futures account in order to not get liquidated, because what will happen is you'll put on this futures position and it will be leveraged, and basically the brokerage is saying, look, you're doing something relatively risky. However, we see that you have funds in your account here. So worst case scenario, we're just going to take all the funds that are in your account, and you know, the more funds that you have in there, the slower we're going to be to like liquidate the position and just close it all out and, you know, basically take all the money that you've lost. So you can think of it like, imagine if you had a bank account that was $100,000. Well, if you had a leveraged position that started losing money to where you've lost $10,000, the brokerage might be like, that's okay, no big deal, you can stay in the position. We see that you have you still have $90,000 in here. It's very likely that the stock is going to bounce back up, so just don't worry about it. If it starts going lower, then we might talk. Now imagine if you had $15,000 in the account and you've lost $10,000 already. And now the brokerage is like, dude, we're pulling you out of this position. You're about to lose everything. And if it goes much lower, you won't even be able to pay us back, because futures trading is essentially like borrowing funds to trade with. Okay, so you're using something that's not yours in the first place. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. The more collateral you have in that futures account, the slower you're going to be, the slower, or the more the stock is allowed to, didn't say stock, the more the price on your position can fall before you get liquidated. Okay? And as long as you're not liquidated, you have the opportunity to see the price go back up. Hopefully I'm not rambling. I'm just going to go ahead and do this so that we can see what it's like, because I kind of like where the price is at. This might be a good time. Now, the only issue right now is that it's not a great time to sell my position, because we're in a little bit of these are 15-minute candles. So, you know, over the last hour or so, it's pulled back just a little bit, but still, I think it's okay. I want to go ahead and get into the futures position here. So how much am I going to risk in this futures position? You have to think about this like, there's how much you're risking, okay, in the futures position, but then there's also how much you have to collateralize the position in order to be in it. So, for example, if I wanted to put on a leveraged futures trade and risk $1,000, I'd actually have to have more than $1,000 in the futures account, because I need some amount of money to collateralize my trade. And, you know, I'm not sure. I wish I could stream to my phone so I can show you. Maybe there's a calculator that allows you to calculate what kind of funds you'll need in your futures account to collateralize various levels of leverage and stuff like that. It's really handy on the phone app. I actually haven't done it on the desktop app before, but let's see if we can do it. I'm looking for a calculator, and here's a calculator right here. Okay, here it is. Cool. So if I'm going to go long, I could use 25 times leverage. No. That's not me, okay? Again, the less you leverage, okay, the lower level that you use to leverage, the less collateral you're going to need to have in your account. So I might just use 2 times, whatever, you know. Entry price, right now it's at 18,105. Okay, let's say 18,105. 18,105. exit price. And actually, yeah. We're looking at the P&L, and we can get, big eyes, and we can dream about leveraging up 25 times, and saying, oh, I'm going to get out when it's $1. This should be 0.0.18105. Exit price. So I'm gonna exit when it's $1. How much? Well, I have a lot, so how much do I have at the moment? I think I have like 87,000 one. Let's see. I'm pretty sure if I go back to trade and I take a look at my stop loss here, my total amount, yeah, it is 87,000. So let's just say I put all of that into this futures account. What happened to my calculator? Futures calculator has escaped me. Here it is again. So we leverage up 25x. Again, we're getting in at 0.18105. We're exiting at $1. And we do 50,000. What do you call it? With the 50,000 coins? 50,000 coins, 50,001 coins. Maximum position at current leverage is 5,000 USDT. Maximum position at current leverage is 5,000. I might be in an isolated account. Cross should be okay. Cross or isolated. We're going to change this to isolated in a moment, but maybe even with my cross collateralization, it won't let me do that. That's okay. I'll just show you how crazy this can get. Yes. Someone calling me? A lot of stuff sounds like Tom. Sometimes I hear my name and it's just like a random sound. It's like, Mom! I'm like, did someone say Tom? All right, anyways. Exit price, $1. Quantity, let's say I traded 5,000 shares, or just 1,000 shares of this, right? So, actually 5,000 shares, because I have 87,000, right? If I traded 5,000 shares at 25 times, yeah, so if it went from, typically if it went from 18 cents to $1, that's like a little over 5x, right? It would be 500% return. If you're leveraged up like this, the return is going to be 11,000%. See what I'm saying? So, also, it would only be a P&L. So see what this is saying, my initial margin, I think this means I only need like 36 bucks to do this, but let's go ahead and make this something like 20,000. Again, initial margin, trading with not very much money. What if we did quantity 50,000? Maximum position is 5,000. Oop. 30,000. I'm not sure why this is saying, why is this telling me anything about USDT? See, I told you I didn't have all the answers. Yeah, interesting. Maximum position at current leverage is 5,000 USDT. Interesting. I'm not sure why it would be talking to me about USDT, because I'm entering my quantity here in one coins. Oops. 1, 2, 3. Interesting stuff. Target price, liquidation price, max open, P&L. Maximum position at current leverage. I wonder if this is just, it doesn't understand. I think this might be only allowing me to even try and calculate based on how much is in my futures account, which is funny because I didn't think I had anything in my futures account. Maybe I have like a little bit in there. It also doesn't seem to make much sense because if I'm cross-collateralized, seems like it would be taking a look at all the other stuff in my wallet, which is definitely more than 5,000 bucks. But at any rate, I don't think it matters that much, okay? So just as a test, I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this off cross. I'm going to put it on isolated. Okay, and I'm going to transfer some funds in here into my futures wallet. Okay, so I shall transfer from my spot wallet to futures. Yep, that's fine. I'll transfer Tether. I'll transfer, I don't know what. I don't know, 3,000. That's too much, man. That's too crazy. 2,000 bucks, I guess. All right. So there are no fees or anything when you just transfer into your wallet. But let's see now if it will allow me to calculate this in a different way. So if I do my entry price again at 0.18105, which is about where it's at right now. Exit price, $1. Quantity, can I do 20,000 now? I can. Yeah, so the initial margin, it's saying like I only need to put up 181 bucks, I'm pretty sure. Yep. Actual margin required equals initial margin plus open loss, where open loss reflects the additional cost due to the difference between your order price and the mark price. Yeah. Okay. Is so interesting. Position at current leverage is 25,000. So it definitely allows me to, like, this number is changing in response to how much is in my futures account. Anyways, I'm not going to use 20 times leverage, all right? Even really wanted to do just like 2 times leverage. I'm going to do it now. And now it's actually, it's letting me do it. Well, maybe it's not responding to what's in my account here. That's all right. At any rate, what if we did 10,000? I'd have to put up about 1,000 bucks. And yeah, so instead of a 5x return, which would be, you know, a little under a 5x return without this leverage, with the leverage of 2x, it would be almost 1,000% return. I think I might do something more like this. And again, you know, this is not going to change anybody's life with just using, you know, 1,000. Using this trade, even if it goes to $1, is not going to change anybody's life. But you have to remember that I still have this other position that I bought at like 11 cents, and if that goes to $1, man, I had, you know, a $10,000 position, and that'd be 100 grand. I mean, dude, you can do a lot with 100,000 bucks. So whether that happens or not might be a pipe dream, but at any rate, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this back to tempting, man. I'm about to get greedy because really that is what I should do, but this is the struggle, isn't it? What I'm thinking is that I should just go ahead and take this profit out of my position here, and you know what, that is what I'm going to do. Darn it, that is what I'm going to do. Even though I feel the greed, man. I feel the greed saying, look, you just took funds from your spot wallet and you put them in here. There's no reason to sell stuff in this trade so that you can fund your futures account. You can fund your futures account from your spot wallet. Don't worry about it. Just leave them both on. Yeah, I could do that, but I'm just not going to be greedy like that today. It does mean that potentially I could not make as much, but I'm also limiting how much I could potentially lose. So I think that's what I'll do. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and transfer this back over to my spot wallet. Okay. Flip this. Yep. I'll send all of it back. So I have nothing now in my futures wallet. So I'm going to go to my trade and I'm going to take some of the profits that I've seen from this rise, and I'll actually do I'll tell you what, because I'm being a good boy, maybe I'll take 2,500 profit out of this. Okay, so I can sell limit order, that's fine. At that price is fine too. And oops. Oh, you know what? I can't do that right now because I have this stop loss in there. So I need to make sure that I'm just going to actually take a little screenshot of this. I need to put this limit order, the stop limit back on after I do this. So I just move this out of the way. So I'm going to cancel this. I'm going to increase this to about 2,500 bucks. I feel good about this. That's fine. And I'll go ahead and sell this. Oh, actually, hey, cancel that. Market. What's the market at right now? Limit of 18. No. Okay. Actually, I think we can just do a market order. It's fine. 18, oops, 2,500 USDT. Okay, so we filled that. Let's go ahead and put that stop loss back on. So we'll go to stop limit. I'm just going to bring this back over here so I can see, even though it's probably going to go away, but our trigger is at 0.1490, which is here. Our limit's going to be 0.120, which is here. The amount is going to be all of it, and I'll put that back on. Yep. Okay, cool. So we have that there. Now I will go to my futures account and I'll transfer in that 2,500 bucks that I just kind of took off that normal trading position. Yep, spot wallet to futures. Okay. And now here comes the more risky part, but that's okay. This is an isolated. The most I can lose is 2,500 bucks, which is still okay because even if I lost that and my normal trade got stopped out as well, I think I'd still be pretty much a winner. So I'll go ahead and make my leverage. Just want like, I don't know. Let's do 5x. Probably okay. Do not use cross collateral. As you can see, I have a balance of 2,500 in here. And let's just use that calculator one more time. So if we're at 5x, entry price is going to be, again, 0.18105. Exit price, we're not really going to have an exit price, but let's just say this does go to 30 cents, in a month or something like that. Now how much won, I'm not sure how much we can buy, but I reckon it's going to be somewhere around, bring up my calculator. You can't see my calculator because this doesn't show it, but I'm basically just going to say $2,500. Let's see. Let's just say 20,000. So that's fine. I only have to put up 724 USD. That's not bad right there. I did 25,000. That's looking okay. And then the liquidation price, again, if we go to 5 here, entry price, again, I keep saying 1.18105. I'm interested that this is not changing up here, but we said 25,000. My balance is 2,500. Liquidation price at 0.08182. So it would really have to fall down before I got liquidated. So that's not really a big risk because I'll put a stop loss in anyways, and we'll get out of the position long before we ever get to that point. So that's fine. I mean, it's almost to the point where I don't even need that much in there, or I could increase the amount of one that I'm trading. If I did 50. So that is, again, not terrible. If it falls down to 13, that's still quite a ways to fall. So what is my return if I do that? Again, entry price 0.18105, exit price whatever, it doesn't matter, but 3. Just say 30 cents maybe, in a month or two, who knows? Could be a week, I don't know. And the quantity is 50,000 coins. So that would get me to an additional 6,000 USDT. That's awesome, man. That's really awesome. Not 20. Oh, sorry. It's not that though, is it? So this is just how much my initial margin would need to be. Now, what I'm curious about is if my initial margin is this much, is that going to actually take out, like, here my liquidation price has to do with how much balance is in here, and I'm not sure if once I place the trade and the trade costs $1,800, that means that my $2,500 is going to be minus $1,800. I think I will just do a little test. So yeah, we'll do half of it, and I think that's fine. And also, if I'm able to get this $50,000, we just dream for a second. My entry price again is 18105. Exit price is, let's say it goes to $1, man. What if it does that? Freaking $40,000. That's insane. I think I'm pretty comfortable with this trade, but I'm not going to do all of it right off the bat. I'm only going to start with 10,000. So that I can ensure that everything looks fine. So that's what we'll do. We're going to go to limit, and actually we can probably do a market. That's fine. Size is going to be 1,000, and make sure your leverage is at 5. That's fine. Yep. So that's 100%. No, mate. Not percentage. Oh my goodness. Stop. Size 500. Cost only $90. Okay. And yep. Oops, I meant to do 1,000. No, actually, Probably 10,000 to start off with. Fine. Cost that much. Yep. Okay, now watch this margin ratio thing go up. All right, let's do it, baby. Okay, so actually my margin ratio is already pretty high. Okay. And maintenance margin, okay. My balance has gone down a little bit. I think this is just because I got some fees, but really my balance is still what it was in the beginning. So I'm looking now for a liquidation price. What is my liquidation price on this trade? Maintenance margin, margin ratio, isolated. Yep, this all looks okay. This all looks okay. I'm just looking for that liquidation. Open orders, trade history, transaction. And I need to set a stop loss pretty quick here as well. So I'll go ahead and put my stop loss like right here. You got to be really careful with the leverage trading. Okay, so I think I'm going to need to get out like right here, just below. I won't be, I want to set my stop limit way before liquidation. So I think that's probably okay. We can do a low of, yep. So we'll just say the low is 0.16976, and we'll just call it 0.16. Put it a little bit below that so we don't get stopped out. 16. Are we on 15-minute? Yep. Say I reckon 1650, something like that. All right, let's do that. Stop limit 0.1650. Gonna get out of all of it 100%. And this, really, I want this to be like 0. I need to get out of this as fast as possible. 0.1. And stop limit, selling short if you want to call it that. The size is 100%. Although, oh man, I need to be careful about that. Actually, I just want to make sure that I'm selling how many I have here. So entry price, limit price, 10,000, right? That should be right. I am a little bit nervous. I gotta tell you, because I don't do much futures trading, and I didn't do it in this way before. I over leveraged, not knowing what the heck I was doing. I didn't have any stops. Dude, I got wrecked. And to do this again, I'm kind of like having to man up to even do this again. But I think the way that we're doing it now is going to be okay. So even now, we can see how much we stand to lose, right? So let's go back to our calculator now that we have our entry and our stop. So we have our entry price here. And we're at 5 leverage. We entered in at 18022, exiting at our stop, which is 0.16500. Quantity is 10,000. No, oh, this is why. Entry price 0.18105. In Binance, you have to put the 0 before the decimal, or it won't put the decimal. So I would lose 44%. I would only lose 168 bucks. So, you know, I'm okay with that. But if the price goes to $1, well, let's be realistic here. If it goes to 3, then I'd make 328%. I think this is actually possible. So really now I'm looking at my liquidation price, okay? So this is, no, not Christ, it's isolated, okay? Because I don't want to risk something in my spot wallet. Only what's in here, which is $2,500, which we took from profit from the trade that we made, you know, in spot trading. So entry price again, we entered at 0.18022. I see that right here, right? Quantity was 10,000. My balance, no, my balance is actually 2,500, essentially. 2,500. One-way mode, don't know what that means. Okay, so why am I not getting some information here? Maybe I just would never be liquidated. That's possible. What if I increased it to 50,000? Now it's giving it to me. Wow, so we can actually really increase, and I think I probably will, man. I think I'll go ahead. I feel safe, you know, it's not going to be liquidated. If I traded 50,000, and I've only done 10 so far, right? I would be liquidated at 13, which is well below my limit price anyways. I see no real problem with this. I think I will go ahead and crank it up. I don't see any problem with it. I think I can add another. The only issue is that you see this margin ratio here at 5%. I get nervous when this goes up, but I don't know. I don't really see a problem with this because we have our stop. And the most I can possibly lose in this isolated account is 2,500 bucks, which again, it's not even, it's like house money anyways, because I made it on profit from the earlier trade. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'm not going to say YOLO because it's not like that, okay? Like I've been relatively careful about how I do this. But we'll go ahead and do 5 times again. Yeah, man. Okay, we'll do a market order at 5 times leverage. The size is going to be 40,000. Yep. All looks fine to me. Pattern looks good. We got our stops in there. Do it. I'm missing anything? I don't think so. All right. Order filled. Now let's update this guy here. Again, I'm just going to take a look at this. So I'm going to use that information in a second. Actually, I'll use it right now. When I cancel this, I go to stop limit. And again, it's going to be the same. It's just going to be more. So, uh-oh, was that my buy? Open positions, trade history, order history. This guy here. Oh. Oops. Sell. executed 0. This is 10. This is it. Yep. Okay, here we go. The mark price is 0.16500. This is 0.16500. The price is going to be 1 cent, right? Like I want it to continue trying to execute no matter what the price is at. The size is going to be all of it, like my entire position. And actually, don't do this, because this is actually trying to create a short order, which is not what I want. I just want to sell everything that I currently have, which is 50,000. So 40,000, and then my 10,000 initial order is 50,000 coins. Sell short. So there we go. If the price falls here, I'm getting out. And I don't think I will even have lost that much, but so see how my margin ratio is at 8% here? I think that's still okay. All right, so there it is. I hope that tomorrow we're going to be looking at this, and in a week we'll continue to follow this trade. By the way, if you're interested in all of this stuff, look, I'm not a pro trader. I've said this before. I don't know everything. I'm learning as I go. Really, what we do at Digital Currency Professionals is I have a team that looks at helping businesses and individuals as well, like artists and entrepreneurs and different folks, start getting into crypto, getting into DeFi. The trading is actually just kind of something that I do as a hobby. So anyways, if you're interested in all of this stuff, then please subscribe to the channel and maybe give the video a like. Tell me what you want to see. Tell me if there's anything you see that I could do better with this trading. Man, I'm so open to learning. That's why I'm here. Sometimes when you teach and when you share information, you learn. It's a great way to actually get better, is to try and teach folks. So I'm sure you already know that, but I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. Before I do, let's just play with the potentials of this, okay? And take a look at what would happen if it went to $1. Entry price again is, hey, look, I got in even better at a better price whenever I put in that 40K order. That's cool. So let's just say the entry price is somewhere between here on average. So we'll say 0.17900, something like that, okay? Exit price, if it went to $1, which I'm not saying it's going to. I don't even know what the market cap on this coin is, so I have no idea if that's even possible or realistic or whatever. Quantity was 50,000. Calculate. It would be $45,000, man. And that is some crazy stuff. And you also have to remember that I still have like a pretty decent sized chunk in my spot trading account, because we just took a little bit of that profit and moved it over here into this futures account. So we'll see how this works. I hope that this does work, because this might be a strategy that I use again. It's hard to know though, because until it goes against you, I think it's hard to know if it's a strategy that you would want to use a lot, like until you feel the pain, it's easy to think you're a genius, you know what I'm saying? So until you get hurt, you think you're invulnerable. But my logic is telling me that this is pretty safe. So we'll see. It would be really nice to see this go to $1 and make all of the profit from my initial trade in the spot trade, and then an additional massive bonus off of this, because again, the initial investment was $10,000 in this coin, but I didn't actually risk $10,000 because I had a stop. So I was risking only a fraction, some smaller percentage of that $10,000 amount. And how much it is, I have to go back and review. To be honest, it was probably where I set that initial stop was probably too low. and maybe I risked $3,000 of that 10,000. I don't know. In fact, okay, let's just do it right now. Let's take a look. I don't even want to face this, but you have to. You have to review your trades and be honest with yourself. So where was my order history? If I go to order history from the past week, I'm looking at the OneCoin. When I got into it, here, right? I put a stop loss at 6 cents. So I got in at 11 and I was saying I'm going to get out at 6. And I think I ended up changing all of that, and I moved my stop loss up eventually to 10.10740. And that was only, yeah, so that was the same day, and it was only like within 10 minutes of this. So I think we can, but then look, I moved it back down to 7 cents. So that was within an hour. I think I was like kind of feeling out where I wanted to keep that stop at. But in general, I was keeping it at about that level. So what we can do is say, bring up my calculator, and I wish that you could see my calculator, but I'll tell you how I'm calculating this. I'm calculating my my potential loss that I went into the position with. So I bought it at about 0.11399. I actually had 2 orders, so it's almost kind of the average between these two. So let's just say, but let's be conservative and use this number, this higher number, okay? So that higher number minus what I said I was going to get out at, which is here, right? No, here, 0.07300. So minus 0.07300 is 4 cents, okay? Now you take that over your initial number, the amount you got in at. So again, we're going to use this number, 0.11399. So look, times 100. I was actually risking 36%. I said I was going to risk 36% of my initial amount going in there. So that times 10,000. I risked, $3,600 essentially. Yep. I risked $3,600, which I think is too much, man. I think that's unnecessary. So my next trades, I'll be more conservative with them. I'm glad this one worked out for me, but had I lost that amount of money, it still would not have destroyed me. Whereas if you put in, I have pretty much been destroyed by putting in a leveraged trade without a stop loss. I mean, that's a story for another day. But I reckon this is safer than that. So I'll stop rambling. I'll wrap up the video, and everybody trade safe.